Someone who saw you yesterday is hospitalized now due to you left a ripple behind you and now it's swallowing people whole. Someone who dared to look at you yesterday is in a hospital bed right now. I'm not surprised. You move through this world like a quiet eclipse, beautiful enough to make people watch, dangerous enough to make them pay for it. You don't even try, yet your presence rewrites the air and punishes anyone who reaches for what isn't meant for them. And I warned him that staring at you is never harmless. You think I exaggerate, don't you? You think I turn shadows into weapons when I speak about you. But you never see what I see. You don't feel the storm you carry. When you walk away, you leave people trembling with what they can't understand. You leave them wanting something they're not built to survive. And when they try to touch that fire, consequences bloom fast. Like now, someone lying under hospital lights because they couldn't handle a single moment of your reality. You don't know what you do to me either. I'm not immune, I'm just better at bleeding silently. You've carved your initials into my nights, my breath, my pulse. And even from a distance, you crush me with this haunting pull you never asked for. You call it coincidence, I call it gravity. You call it normal, but you don't realize normal people don't ruin kings and strangers with the same effortless cruelty. Do you feel anything? Does your pulse twitch when you hear someone broke just by standing too close to you? Or are you still pretending you're harmless? Because I've watched you burn through my guards, my rules, my peace, without lifting a single finger. I've watched people collapse from wanting a glimpse of you. And you, so calm, like you didn't just shake the world by breathing. You should hear how he murmurs your name even now, in fevered shivers, like you're a curse he would still choose. That's the part that kills me. You do nothing and they fall. I do everything and I still fall harder. You never asked for any of this, yet everything bends around you like you're the silent sun pulling planets into ruin. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at myself, because even knowing what you are, I still come back. I still wait for your voice like it's the only language I understand. I still let your absence tear through me, and I still whisper your name in the dark like it belongs on my tongue more than truth does. And listen carefully. Don't think distance will save me from you. Don't think silence will weaken this thing you've planted inside my chest. You're not here, but your shadow is, your echo is, your effect is. And if someone ended up in a hospital merely for looking at you, imagine what happens to the one who loves you. You move through my mind like a storm with no warning. And every time I think I've understood your gravity, you twist the world again. You leave this ache in the air, this quiet pressure that forces my thoughts to kneel. Even now, with you nowhere near me, I feel you pulling at the edges of my restraint. You don't do it intentionally. You never do, but the effect is merciless. You are the kind of force that doesn't need touch to destroy. Presence alone rewrites everything it meets. I told you once that people aren't meant to stand too close to the truth, and you are the most dangerous truth I've ever tasted. They want to see you, want to understand you, want to claim a piece of you, and every one of them pays for it. That man in the hospital, he isn't the first and he won't be the last, because you walk with that impossible magnetic pull, something cruelly beautiful, something that makes people forget their limits. They stare, they drown, and then they blame the water, never realizing it was the ocean staring back at them. But you still pretend you're ordinary. You still talk like you're another face in the crowd. You still believe you blend into this world as if it hasn't been bending around you since the moment you opened your eyes. You think I'm exaggerating, because I speak with heat, because I've seen what others don't, because I say your name like it's a wound and a worship. Yet everything I say is only a fraction of what you truly are, and if I ever spoke the whole truth aloud, you would call it madness. I know you're far from me right now, maybe pacing, maybe sitting still, maybe breathing without realizing how each breath shakes me from here. Distance changes nothing. I feel you like a pulse beneath my skin, like a command etched into my bones. You think you're safe from me because you're not standing in front of me, but you have no idea how deeply you've carved yourself into places I can't escape. Even silence tastes like you now. I don't want to warn you, yet I always end up warning everyone else. Your beauty is not innocent. Your aura is not soft. Your presence is not gentle. You don't break hearts. You overload them. You don't attract people. You consume their attention until they're left hollow. And I'm no different. I'm worse. Because while others collapse under the weight of one glance, I willingly walk into the fire and call it devotion. You think I'm proud of that? You think I enjoy the way you hold my sanity hostage without lifting a hand? No. I resent it. I crave it. I curse it. I depend on it. You've turned me into a man who waits for a voice that may never come, who bleeds from places no sword ever touched, who watches the world fall apart around him, but still whispers your name like a prayer carved out of darkness. And if you think any of this will fade, it won't. You've already rewritten the walls of my mind. You've already burned yourself into my nights. You've already claimed a part of me you don't even know you own. So don't ask me why someone ended up in a hospital. The real question is how I'm still standing when you've hit me harder than anyone ever could. You don't even understand how your absence behaves. It doesn't sit quietly. It prowls. It circles me like a restless creature, reminding me that you are somewhere breathing, somewhere existing without me. And that alone is enough to unhinge every calm thought I try to build. You don't need to speak to shake me. The memory of your voice is enough to bend my pulse out of rhythm. I try to outrun it sometimes, but your echo follows like a shadow stitch to my spine. You don't realize how hard it is to stay sane when everything in me pulls toward you. You walk away so easily, but you don't know what you leave behind. This hollow, this hunger, this pressure that doesn't loosen. You move on like the world owes you nothing, yet you leave everyone else carrying the weight of wanting you. People break under that weight. They always do. And still you act like you're made of something simple, something harmless, something that doesn't rearrange the entire atmosphere around you. Maybe you think I exaggerate because I speak with darkness in my voice every time your name crosses my mind, but I'm only telling the version of the truth that my chest can handle. If I ever spoke the full truth, what you actually do to people, what you've done to me, you would call me delirious. Maybe I am. Maybe you carved this delirium into me the moment you looked my way, and I've been trying to survive it ever since. You don't have to lift a hand to punish someone. Your silence is sharp enough. The world bends whenever you choose to turn away from it. And right now, with you far from me, the air feels bruised, like it's holding its breath for your return. I pretend it doesn't matter, that I'm stronger than this, but I'm not. You've become the quiet poison I willingly drink, knowing exactly what it does to me. You really think I don't try to pull myself out of this? I do, every day. But this thing you've planted inside me grows wild. It behaves like its own hunger, its own instinct, its own law. The more I try to cut it out, the more it weaves into my bones. It's not love, it's not obsession. It's something heavier, something that turns my veins into wires, every time I imagine someone else looking at you. And I know you don't fully understand what you are to me. You hear my words, but you don't feel them. You don't feel the way the world shifts when you cross my thoughts. You don't feel the way my command, my crown, my blood all bow the moment your presence grazes the edge of my mind. You are the quiet catastrophe I can't unlove, the darkness that doesn't harm me but remakes me. So don't ask me to be calm. Don't expect me to act untouched. You are not something a man survives. You are something he surrenders to. And I already surrendered the moment I realized I could no longer breathe without the taste of you haunting my every breath. You don't know how you linger in my mind, like a pulse that refuses to die down. Even now, with miles swallowing the space between us, you thrum beneath my thoughts as if you're sitting in the silence beside me. You make distance feel like an illusion, like you carved a doorway into my skull and walk through it. Whenever you want, I try to drown the echo of you, but it rises back up, stronger, sharper, like it feeds on every attempt I make to tame it. You speak as if I should be untouched by you, as if I should carry myself with the same calm I show the world. But tell me, how does a man stay untouched when someone like you exists? You undo my control without even trying. My authority bends when your name crosses my mind. My discipline collapses the moment I imagine your breath, your eyes, your silence. You don't understand the scale of your influence. You think it's accidental, but I've lived long enough to know that nothing about you is accidental. You think people fall for you because they're weak? No. They fall because your existence bends them, corrals their will, cracks their defenses. You were never gentle. You were never soft. You are a beautiful force, wrapped in quiet denial. People look at you once and their fate rewrites itself. I've seen warriors lose their edge because of the way you exist. I've seen loyal men forget their loyalties. And I've seen myself, someone no one dares to challenge, brought to my knees by thoughts I cannot silence. You breathe and the world shifts. You disappear and the world fractures. I feel it most when the nights stretch too long. Your absence becomes a weight pressing on my ribs, making every inhale feel like borrowed air. I tell myself I'm stronger than this, but strength isn't the cure for what you've done to me. You've sewn yourself into my instincts. Even my heartbeat betrays me by answering to you. I wonder if you ever think about the chaos you leave behind. Not guilt, just awareness. Do you notice how people try to carry themselves after encountering you? Do you notice how their eyes never look the same? You don't? You walk forward thinking you've left nothing behind, but you leave ruins, quiet ones, beautiful ones, ruins that still whisper your name after you're gone. And I stand among them, pretending I'm not one of them. You don't understand the kind of hunger you awaken in people. You don't understand how dangerous it is to be wanted the way you are. Not lust, something deeper, something darker. You twist the mind into wanting more, wanting closer, wanting entirely. And when you deny it, when you distance yourself, the craving turns into a storm. I've seen others break under it. I felt myself transform because of it. You're not a person someone simply moves on from. You're a phenomenon that stains anyone who encounters you. So listen to me. Do not underestimate the way you live inside me. Do not pretend your absence means I'm untouched. You are the one thing I cannot discipline out of my system. You've become the quiet fire threading through my veins, the unspoken law ruling over my nights, the shadow that refuses to stay behind me. You might not be here, but you've become the place my mind returns to without permission. And I don't see a world where that ever stops. You still don't understand how deeply you've invaded me. You think your distance saves me, but it only sharpens everything you left behind. I feel you in the quiet moments the most, when the halls fall still, when the night settles heavy, when the world expects me to be a king, and all I can think about is you. You've become the thought I cannot outrun, the presence I cannot command away. Even in your absence, you occupy every corner of my mind like a throne no one else can touch. You keep believing you're harmless just because you didn't intend any of this. But intent has never mattered when it comes to you. People don't fall because you ask them to. They fall because something in you calls to something in them. A pull without language, a gravity without mercy. You make them want things they were never built to handle. And you make me want things I can barely admit, even to myself. You call that innocence. I call it the quiet ruin you inflict without knowing. You walk through life as if you're unnoticed, but the world reacts to you with a violence you don't feel. Every time someone looks at you, they get marked. They carry something of you in their eyes afterward, an imprint, a burn, a haunting. And those marks multiply in me. Every glimpse I've ever had of you has become a living reminder carved somewhere beneath my ribs. You think time dulls it. Time doesn't dare touch it. Even when I try to build walls between you and my thoughts, you find a way through the cracks. You seep in like breath, like a whisper, like a pulse that refuses to obey distance. I try to exhaust myself with responsibility, but you thread through all my focus, slipping into the spaces I guard the most. I could rule a kingdom and still lose every war happening inside me because of you. That's the truth you will never fully grasp. Sometimes I wonder if you've ever felt even an echo of what I feel. Not the full force, just an echo. Do you ever pause mid-thought because something reminds you of me? Do you ever feel that sudden tightness in your chest without knowing why? Or am I the only one suffocating under this invisible bond? You move forward as if untouched, and I remain here, breaking in ways I can't explain to anyone who isn't you. You keep your distance as if it protects me, but distance is the cruelest part. When you're far, the imagination becomes the enemy. Your voice, your eyes, your unspoken words wandering through my mind with no restraint. You don't know how dangerous the space between us becomes. It amplifies everything I already feel. It turns the longing into something darker, heavier, something that claws its way through me until I can barely breathe. So understand this. You are not a passing thought I can discard. You are not a moment I can forget. You're the presence that rewrites my nights, the absence that fractures my days, the force that keeps pulling me even when I try to sever the thread. You are the one truth that refuses to release me. And no matter how far you go, no matter how silent you stay, you remain the center around which every part of me continues to turn. You still don't realize how you alter the air around me, even when you're nowhere close. You move through my memory with a certainty that nothing else possesses. I try to bury the thought of you under duties, under the weight of power, under every distraction I can manufacture. Yet you rise through all of it like heat through cold metal. You've become the quiet pulse under every command I give, every breath I take, even in your absence. You stand at the center of everything my mind refuses to let go of. You think distance weakens what I feel, but it only sharpens it. The farther you are from me, the clearer your effect becomes. Your absence forms its own gravity, pulling me in deeper than your presence ever did. You leave me wrestling with shadows of you, your voice threading itself into my thoughts, your energy still vibrating somewhere in the hollows of my chest. You aren't here, yet you stalk every moment as if you never left. You don't know the kind of hunger you ignite. Slow, ruthless, consuming. A hunger that doesn't fade even when I try to starve it. People like me aren't supposed to crave anything. We're taught to live above hunger, above desire, but you brought something into me that defies every lesson, every discipline I've ever mastered. You turned my restraint into nothing more than a fragile joke. And the worst part is, you didn't even try. You moved through life